So this is like the last part of the conditional probability, right? So let's take a look at this example. Basically, at the end, I want you to understand this tree, right? So that's the goal. So, but it eventually leads to the Bayes theorem, right? But I'm not going to talk about the Bayes theorem. There's a homework assignment that I'm going to give you. So there's a one video tutorial that you need to watch. And then we're going to have the attendance quiz on Thursday, right, in the next lecture. But anyway, first in my lecture, my goal is to show this how this tree really works. Okay. So now let's take a look at this table, right? The supplier 1, there's a supplier 1 and supplier 2. And like this is the good part and bad part, right? So that means there are like 98, right? There are, I don't know how many total. It's not really shown here, but anyway. So there's a 98 parts, right? It's provided by supply 1, and then those parts are good, right? And there are 2 parts that are supplied by a supply 1, and unfortunately their condition is really their conditions are bad. So there are 2 bad parts supplied by a supply 1, and etc. And if you look at 91, there are 91 parts that's supplied by supplier 2, and then 95 of them are good parts, but there are 5 parts that are not good. Yes, but it's supplied by supplier 2. Okay, so let's just write this down. Okay, so there's a table, right? So there's supplier 1. I'll just call it S1 and S2. And then this is like a percentage of good. And then this is like bad. I'll just say G means good or bad, right? And there's 98. And there are 2 and 95 and 5, right? Okay. So, so this is what? This is like, I'll just use notations. And once you calculate, you'll, for example, like 98 divided by total, right? And then you will get the probability, right? So I'll just use the notation instead of the number. So here is probability is what? S1 and G, right? So this means probability that is what? S1 and B as a bad. And then probability that is S2 and G. And this is something you have to calculate, right? The probability is what? S2 and B. Okay, so any question? Okay, now, if you want to find that, so this is the tree diagram. This is something that I think it's something that you should understand, right? This is so for example, there's a couple of steps. This is a really good way also to understand the conditional probability. So first we have step number 1, right? So we have, you have to choose whether it's the part is supplied by S1 or S2, right? So let's say, so we have what? There are 2 cases, right? Whether we choose S1 or we choose S2, right? So that's a step number 1. And then the step number 2 is once, let's say if we choose S1, right? There's only 2 possibilities. The first one is good and then bad, right? It's the same thing. After S2, right? We have only 2 choices, right? Either good or the bad, right? And so here, right? Okay, so this means your outcome. Your outcome is like S1, and then this is good. And this one is what? S1 and bad. And this one is S2. And at the same time, this is good, right? It's good. And this one means S2, right? And then bad. So what that means is, for example, right, to reach this point, you first need to choose the pot is supplied by S2, right? And then that pot happened to be bad at the same time. Okay? So now, if I just change this tree diagram, right, with the probability, right, I'll just add so this one is S1, right, and S2. So what I can do is probability that it's S1, and this is probability that it's S2. And for the step number 2, right, so simply this probability is G, and then this is our probability is B, and then this is probability G, and this is probability is B, right? And this one, right, if I just change the notations, change this notation to a notation that using a probability, then means this is probability that is what? S1 and G. Okay? And this one, it's probability that is S1 and B. And then this is what? This is probability that is S2 and G. And this one is probability that is what? S2 and B. Right? So this is basically, so let's just first take a look at this path. Right? So to find that probability is that the particular pot is happen to be S1 and good is what? You need to follow this path, right? That is S1 multiplied by the way, oh sorry. You know what? This step number 2 is not just probability is G. It's given that it's you first S1 has to first take a place first, right? So it's given that it's S1. So the probability is G. Oops. So probability is G given S1. And by the way, this is multiplications. And sorry, it was my mistake here. It's not just PB. This one is what? The probability that it's bad given this has to take place first, right? So it's given that it's S1. So to find this probability that it's S1 and B, basically you have to adjust this, right? So that is that the probability that it's first you have to take S1, right, and multiply. This means the multiplication has to be take place at the same time, right? And then probability that it's B given S1. Okay? So vice versa. So I'll just skip this. Basically, this one is, just let me just change the notation. So this is given G S2. And this one is, it's not really PB, it's really like PB bad given S2. Right? Because S2 has to take place first. So you can find this probability, right? And then you can find this probability. Okay? And the last one is Okay, so you can find the this probability, right? It's just multiplications. So any question? So this is what this tree diagram really means. Okay, so you should understand this tree diagram. And okay, now from this we can come up with this Bayes theorem, right? But I'm not going to talk about this Bayes theorem in the class. It takes a lot of time. So instead, I want you to go to the our class course website, right? And then see there's a link at the end, the YouTube links, right? And the first one is Bayes theorem. So please go to this YouTube video, right? So this is the address, or you can click here. It's about 8 minutes long video lecture, right? It really clearly explains about the Bayes theorem. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this. I want you to watch this video tutorial. Okay, so any question? Okay, so we are done with this the conditional probability. Okay, okay, then let's take a 1 minute break.